Yeah. Sunday night, Saquon Barkley and the Giants battle my Commanders in the NFC East Showdown, Sunday 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. We have a trio of games tomorrow. Don't sleep on those games. And one of the games will be the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Rich Eisen will be on the call. NFL Network, he'll be there with Kurt Warner, Steve Weish, Stacey Dales. That's at 4:30 Eastern on NFL Network. What are your plans in Cleveland right now? What do you got coming up?
This is how we do it, Dan. We're just sitting here waiting to talk to the Ravens later today.
Okay.
I've got my prep work. I've rested my laptop on my prep work right now.
Okay.
I've literally taken time out of my prep work.
Ooh.
So I could make sure we have this conversation.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on the agenda today?
No, I'm here to work, Dan. I'm here to work. This is a working trip. I'm not gonna do anything other than focus on the task at hand.
Wow, you're a professional. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lead pipe wielding. Lead pipe wielding.
You are
That's
a professional. Let's guess, since Rich doesn't have time to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Rich Eisen's favorite band.
All time?
Yes. Todd, I'm going to start with you.
The Eagles.
All right. Seton O'Connor.
I'm going to say Coldplay.
Coldplay. Marvin.
The Smiths.
Smith. Paulie.
I'm trying to guess Rich's age. I'm going to go safe pick and go U2.
U2. Okay. Rich,
I'm more of an individual. First of all, not to pick nits, but it's just Eagles, Fritzy.
Not the Eagles.
The Eagles. Look at any of their album covers. Eagles.
Randall Cunningham and the Eagles.
Like the old Sky Dome. It's just, and it's not Bronx, it's the Bronx. I'm sorry, that's just something.
It's not the NFL Network, it's NFL Network, and it's
correct,
not
Dan.
The Golf Channel, it's Golf Channel.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. You got to know when there's a the, or you got to know when there's not. Or in the case of Ohio State, since I am in this state, the. It's okay. Not the, it's the. It's difficult to try and keep track, but if anyone was closest enough,
I'm going to say here's my guess.
Okay,
Billy Joel.
That's it. Well, I'm from Staten Island.
Todd,
Billy Joel,
and you love Billy Joel.
I don't know how I messed that up.
I'm from Staten Island.
How could I not guess Billy Joel?
Born in Brooklyn, raised in Staten Island. That's of course. But Coldplay, if there was a band, Seton was closest.
Okay.
Coldplay.
All right. Fair enough. I'm looking at the over-under. It's 38 points for the Ravens and the Browns.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. This is NFL Network. We just only have we're getting close.
Entertainment
it's on the bottom
purposes.
Line.
Entertainment purposes only.
That information is now only on the graphics. Remember when Berman would do his 2-minute drill and he would do or his Swami picks.
It'd take 5 minutes to do the 2-minute drill.
The 6.5-minute drill. There would always be like that arrow, that carrot that was next to a team, even if that wasn't the team that Chris was predicting to win. NFL Network now has the information on the bottom line. We're working our way up from the bottom of the screen. It's on that scroll. It will say -3, -2.5, O/U on our graphic. We're not there yet. So I am not fully aware. All I know is that Tyler Huntley, it looks like, is going to start this game.
Okay.
And Deshaun Watson has only one offensive touchdown to his credit since returning. So, one would think that this game would be points challenged. I mean, Mark Andrews hasn't scored a touchdown in a month and a half for him. So I don't know if that's what you're asking.
Do you get to have access to Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, well, there was a Cleveland Browns team Zoom with the crew yesterday. I was on my show and traveling, so I wasn't part of that. I do have access to it, and that's part of my prep work today. But yes, there was access to him. I did not speak with him yet, though.
The game will be on NFL Network tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern, Browns and the Ravens. Give me the scenarios here that play out for Brock Purdy and the 49ers and what they mean for next year for Brock Purdy and the Niners.
It really depends. I guess the scenario is he's going to play a playoff game at home. And right now that game would be against, if I use the phrase properly from what I heard before, your Commanders, Dan.
Yeah.
Or the Giants, or the team we just saw them beat last night, or the Lions. That's basically it. Those are the teams that they're going to face. I don't think anybody from the NFC South is going to put it together to put significantly enough to put two teams from that division in. Yeah. So one would think that's the so-called winnable game. It's entirely possible that they do get up to the 2 seed in time and then have the Vikings come to them, or they go to the Vikings. That's possibly it, unless there's a shock at the bottom of the and somebody shocks the Vikings, and then suddenly the Cowboys stroll into their building. But it's most likely going to be their building. So he's got one, if not maybe 2 home games in the playoffs in front of him. And the way that defense is playing and the throws that he's making, even the 3rd down throw late last night that he made to Ayuk, he hit him in the hands and Ayuk dropped it. I mean, he is really locked in. In terms of next year, it really depends on how deep he goes and how much the locker room loves him. And Shanahan's going to have to make that decision. You just saw the Jets do what they did to their 2nd overall pick, chosen in front of Trey Lance. I think if you have a coach and a GM that can survive an ownership group or person looking at them saying, "Boy, did you blow that draft choice? We're going to get all upset about it." That's not San Francisco, so they could do whatever the hell they want, it seems.
Yeah, it felt like if Jimmy G got that team to the NFC title game or the Super Bowl, they would be bringing him back. Well, now, if Brock Purdy can do the same thing, there's no need to bring Jimmy G back, but then you're going to have a couple of 22-year-olds. Brock Purdy turns 23, but that, to me, is I guess it's a good problem to have, but I wonder, can Brock Purdy win this job moving forward?
I think so. It really also, like I said, it depends on what the locker room scene is, and that's the only analogy I can make. And even though the Niners can win the Super Bowl this year, and it doesn't appear that the Jets can put something together, it's clear that Mike White has captured that locker room. It's clear that they love him, and so this is part of the decision making that you need to go through. And I think Purdy can not only win the Super Bowl this year, but the job next year. I mean, why not? It's a win now league, and then down the road you have to take in the consideration of hot seats and internal politics, and it doesn't appear the Niners have that.
Help me understand the Micah Parsons bulletin board material with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. He was with Von Miller and
on the Von cast.
Yeah, the Von cast.
He calls it the Von cast. Yes, that's what he calls it.
Did I miss bulletin board material here?
That he wouldn't allow that it's Jalen Hurts that's taking this team and putting it in a different level, that it's the system. He called him a system quarterback is what he basically called him. And then, I think, this is definitely something that the Eagles will just internalize and use in the next week and a half. Right now, I don't think it really means very much, but this is all we're going to be talking about next week leading up to this game is, can the Philadelphia Eagles close the door on the Cowboys and the division, or will that still be an open question and something that we can think about going into January when they play their playoff games?
I didn't think he marginalized Jalen Hurts. I think he complimented him. He talked about it, but he said, "Look, it's just about 22 guys, and I'm a defensive guy. We're not giving credit to the Eagles' defense there."
Sure.
And I know system quarterback firsthand, calling Alex Smith the system quarterback, and I don't think he's over it yet with me, but I think Jalen Hurts is his own system. I just didn't, I didn't see, it's because it's the Cowboys and it's Micah Parsons saying it, therefore it felt like it was going to be illuminated a little bit more than somebody else.
I think so, but Jalen Hurts has the second most rushes in the NFL 4 first downs, the second most number of times he has touched the football and created a first down for his team, and he leads the league in passer rating. He's an MVP, and you don't sit around and say that, well, the MVP is really the MVP because he's part of the most valuable system. I mean, that's where you have the needle rip off the record a little bit here. I mean, where the eye test also shows you what's going on in Philadelphia. And for him, like if he was playing Mahomes, he wouldn't say that, or Allen, he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say that even about Burrow right now. You know, this is also a guy who, as we know, how he was born into the league, how he went through his time at Alabama. And the conversation about him always was that he had to give way to Tua, or he was just a one-year stopgap from Kyler Murray to Lincoln Riley's next guy at Oklahoma. That the problem with him is his ceiling wasn't high enough. He would always hit his head on the ceiling, and now he's ripped the roof off of Philadelphia. So I think that's part of it.
I hope
that's
he wins the MVP.
At play here.
Yeah, I hope he wins the MVP. I think it'd be a great story there. But I was listening to and trying to put it in context. It didn't sound as inflammatory as
I get it. Yeah, he didn't come out and basically say the guy stinks.
The biggest storyline of the NFL is not about a game this weekend. It's about a game the following weekend. I didn't think it warranted that. But that's just me, being a...
So are you... I thought I had the game of... What if I called my game America's Game of the Week just to do? What do you think?
Well, would you
Can I
say...
do that? Who decides what is America's Game of the Week?
Would you call it the...
No, the. It's Ohio. Dan.
Okay.
It's the. Yeah,
I'm
trying to be respectful here. I'm trying to be respectful with my team being the second ranked team in college football playoffs.
The North America Game of the Week.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. My game day morning's going against the World Cup final. I might as well just make it completely international and say it's the world's game of the week.
Well, that's where Fox was trying, because Football Night in America.
Yeah.
And then Fox wanted to compete with them and then come up with America's game or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not even Fox's only game when they call it America's game. What if you're on another crew and you're like, what's going on? What do you mean?
I don't get too caught up in it, but
Well, as you know, I'm the guy who always notices who's got the shoulder on me in the group PR photos. Like I need to maybe get out of my own skull, Dan.
Yes, Paulie.
Dan, Rich is a lifelong Jets fan. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Breaking news: Jets doctors will not clear Mike White for contact before Sunday's game versus Detroit. Hence, Zach Wilson will start against the Lions. Back to you.
Okay.
Wow. Is that so, huh? Yeah. They won't clear him for contact.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is it. This is Zach Wilson's time. This is it. This is honest. I mean, what else can I say other than the fact that the Jets fans can't have nice things?
Okay. Let me talk to the
Quinnen Williams limps off. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Let me talk to the Jets fan, Rich Eisen here. Hey,
you know what?
Zach Wilson's going to start this weekend against the Lions, Rich.
This guy, that guy, huh? We got to put a reset on this guy. Well, it's time to unset the reset, huh? We'll see what happens against the Lions. By the way, the Lions should win this game. They're going up against the backup Jets quarterback, right? I mean. Yeah. I don't know what to say other than the fact that the kid was told to get a reset. They put him up to number 2 for a reason. And now it's time. You saw how Mike White has been able to find Garrett Wilson to the point where Garrett Wilson's being talked about the offensive rookie of the year going into this week.
Yeah.
And then you've got Elijah Moore, proof of life. I mean, like when Elijah Moore was playing with Zach Wilson, proof of life. He had to hold up a newspaper to make sure it was that day, So we'll see.
Have fun. Have fun in Cleveland.
I will. I'm looking forward to seeing this large elf on the field. I've only talked about it. I will be there, and Kurt Warner is yet to confirm or deny that he's wearing that silver puffy jacket. So
Ooh.
these are many different ways and reasons to tune in.
I want to know what's the jacket that he turned down when he put on the silver puffy jacket.
The one who's like, yeah, that's too audacious. I can't do that. I can't do that one.
Get out, walk around a little bit in downtown
DP.
Cleveland, okay?
I will do that.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right.
That's Rich Eisen, part of not the NFL Network. It's NFL Network, and they'll bring you Browns-Ravens 4:30 Eastern tomorrow.